Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Healthy Reset. And tonight, I'm Dr. Z, and I'm filling in for Nurse Maria because she's having a few technical difficulties with her computer. So I do apologize. I know you don't want to see, well, you don't mind having the guys here, but you want the wonderful Nurse Maria to be talking about menopause and menopause changes. So, but I will fill in for a few minutes and hope to fill her shoes, which I can't, but I'll try. Tonight, on the Healthy Reset, we have the wonderful Robin Lee, who is coming to us from, where is it? Canada, Robin?
Washington State in the United States.
Washington State. Oh, wow, I was far off. All right. And she will be talking to us tonight about vibrant health at any age, reimaging your life for joyful, active longevity and active longevity. So let me give you a little bit of insight about who Robin is. Robin Lee is a health and longevity coach with over 30 years of experience in the natural and energetic healing and 2 decades in sustainable living advocacy. Her passion for simple, impactful solutions guides her mission to make easy lifestyle changes that benefit every generation. Robin works to extend not just the length, but the quality of life while fostering resilience for ourselves, future generations, and our planet. So, Robin, welcome to the Healthy Reset. Why don't we
Thank you,
start off with
Dr.
you
Z.
introducing yourself and telling us a little something?
All right. Well, I have been a lifelong artist. I don't know if so far you're the only person on the screen. Are
That's
you
okay. I said it that way.
okay? So I'm an lifelong artist, and I have these are actually my hand painted tiles in my Zoom background here. I Because of the hand painted tiles, I started to network with people in the green building industry. And I found that there are so many solutions that most people just don't know about. And when we're looking at the climate crisis, people don't really know how much they can make a difference in the planet and the health of the environment. So I got really into that because my mom became chemically sensitive when right before I went to college. I really started to get into learning about health and wellness and how to be proactive so that both to help my mom and because I didn't want to be getting having immune system problems like she had. And um, back, I guess it was maybe about 15 years ago, I started to hear people really wanting to know what they could do for prevention of Alzheimer's. And there was, the doctors would not know anything to tell them to how to prevent it. And I knew so much about good habits for brain health and food and nutrition that I decided maybe I needed to start sharing what I know with people. So that started my journey as a health and longevity coach.
That is an amazing journey. And thanks for sharing that. Um, so let's dive in to unlocking what is vibrant health. Now, in our community, as you know, we help women navigate the changes of menopause, which can last up to 10 years. And for some women, yes, it starts in their early to mid 40s. But for some women, it can start as early as their 30s, right? And last well into their 50s. Usually it's menopause or postmenopause comes around the age of 52 to 55, but it can be later than that. So let's talk about how we can unlock vibrant health, especially during this change in the women's lives. Um, so many women believe aging automatically means declining health and energy. What are some of the biggest myths about aging that you would like to debunk?
Well, one of the biggest things that I have found is that when you have chronic conditions, they oftentimes can be reversed, or the symptoms can be reversed or largely moderated. And so that's something that most people don't really understand. And I see a lot of people, the assumption is once you get those chronic conditions, it's all downhill. And that is going to be how aging has to be. And I love helping people understand that they don't have to live that way. You know, one of the biggest things that I have learned is that when you get more antioxidants than inflammatory compounds and toxins, then you can actually reverse a lot of the symptoms of chronic conditions. And it's pretty fun actually to help people do that, you know, to get
See,
them kind of that get your life back type of results.
awesome. So you're saying increasing the antioxidants in your body can help to reverse that aging process. And honestly, I do believe that too. And I know that you can reverse aging by using different techniques. Do you have any techniques you can suggest that can help, besides antioxidants that you mentioned earlier, that can help with women to reverse aging and to live that long and healthy life?
So one of the combinations that I use is combining the nutrition with energetic and emotional healing. Because my mom's chemical sensitivity, I really got to understand that the emotional traumas that we hold, whether or not you recognize that they're there, because my mom's had a very traumatic childhood, and she totally didn't she didn't recognize it. It had been entirely repressed. And when she became chemically sensitive, we started to explore how the emotional trauma wound up kind of being there. Let me give you an example. So one time I was there when her jaw locked up from some tiny scent that nobody else could even smell. And we drove 15 minutes to her acupuncturist, and Frida put in one needle, and my mom's jaw unlocked just as fast as it had locked up. And she got a flash of a memory of being whacked in the jaw by one of her parents. And so that really showed how much the body holds that emotion, and her immune system basically had gone haywire because all of that trauma was being held in. And you know how like if you can imagine, stress is like an empty barrel, and how full it gets, at some point it's just going to spill over, and you're going to have, you know, potentially catastrophic illnesses come when you get that stress bucket too full. And so that's what basically happened to my mom. Once your immune system goes haywire like that, then it's a long climb to get better. And so when it comes to people's health, I like to encourage them to be proactive in both the nutritional end with the antioxidants and eating anti-inflammatory foods, and the emotional and energetic healing side, to be able to have long-term results. Then addressing those emotional things is really helpful. And the little pocket guide that I'm giving people is something that can really help do that. So it's a little pocket guide of Marma pressure points. And one of those is called the Forgive and Let Go, where you're pressing on your left hand in this area between your thumb and your index finger. Kind of you dig around till you find a point that's painful, and you press that 6 times. And as you're doing that, you're focusing on what you want to forgive. if you don't think you have anything you need to forgive, then do it anyway. And it's pretty amazing that the kinds of things that come up for people that they didn't realize were still bothering them. And being able to heal those kinds of things are really important.
So thank you for that. And for everyone here, the gift that Robin is talking about, we'll bring it up a little later in the conversation. So stick around to the end and you'll learn more about the gift that she's brought to our show today and how you can access it. But let's continue now with, as you talked about stress and how stress can affect health and longevity. One of the areas, well, as we know, we try to help women through menopause, and menopause can be a very stressful change, right? Some women feel extremely isolated and very confused about the symptoms they're having. So it can be a challenging phase for many women. What are some of your favorite natural strategies for managing things like hormonal balance, energy, and overall well-being during let's say the menopause change or anything to do with the changes that occur with women's health?
So there are a lot of herbs that can help with hormonal balance and being able to make those make the transition easier. So I recently got trained in Siddha Beta Ayurveda, and we have a whole range of herbs that can be really helpful for helping to balance the hormones and balance any symptoms. In Ayurveda, there are what's called three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and the constitution of the person is kind of guided, you fit into one of those three categories, or, you might be a combination. As we age, then it becomes a lot more of Vata naturally, which tends to, like your arthritis and osteoporosis, those are actually considered Vata conditions. And so from an Ayurvedic perspective, being able to balance those doshas is how you address the different conditions and can help to balance the body. And then from my other range of solutions, I have some delicious candy nutrition where you're getting 100% absorption just by sucking on these little candies. And there are ones that help to balance the hormones, help with detox, and help with the pain. So I like to use kind of a combination of the fast acting things that I have. And then in Ayurveda, there are herbs that are particularly good at kind of getting to the deeper roots of the issue so that you can see prolonged benefit.
Could you share some more, like about three points about the fast acting things you do, some of the stuff you use, what are they, and perhaps where we can find them?
Yeah, so one of my favorites is it's called DNA nutrition. It's called this kind of like instant gratification. One of my favorite stories that I have heard is a lady wound up taking her blood sugar level off of her. She took pictures of her insulin pump device every 20 minutes as her need for insulin went down. And so when we are able to get the right nutrition, then the body is absolutely amazing at being able to heal and balance itself. We wind up in the West, the average diet is about 20-to-1 inflammatory compounds to anti-inflammatory compounds. And a good diet is actually a 1-to-1 inflammatory to anti-inflammatory compounds, because you want to be able to have an inflammatory response that's healthy. Like if you get a cut, then that's gonna help you the clot help it clot so you don't bleed to death, right? But when it's healed, then you need to have that anti-inflammatory response to be able to take that inflammation away. And we don't have enough in the average American diet to be able to restore that natural balance. And so let me go ahead and get a box of this. So this is one of the boxes with the DNA drops, and they're literally little candies that you suck on. And I'll be able to provide you with a link if people want to learn more about it, because it is one of the most fun ways to be able to get your nutrition. This particular one helps to reduce pain and inflammation. And I have also friends like who get migraines, and this totally helps take away their migraines. And being able to have good nutrition in a form that you want to take is one of my things that I do as a health and longevity coach. To make it fun to do the right thing for our health is really important to me.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. If health is not fun, then it just becomes tedious. So Maria has raised her hand. Maria, come on, if you can. Ah, lovely Maria.
Hello.
Hi. Good night, Miss Lee. Good night, Dr. Khan. Good night, viewers. I'm doing this from my phone, so I'm not getting the best, but I'm here online, and I just want to say a special thanks to Robin for coming on and giving us a lot of your insights and your expertise in this area. But I have a question I would like to ask you. Now, some women, it could
So
be
Maria,
menopause.
before you ask your question, could you back up your phone just a little bit? Let's see your lovely face. There you go. Much better.
I would like to for women who are now going through this menopausal experience, we know the importance of diet and exercise. To me, exercise, lifestyle change is the fountain of youth. But I mean, somebody who doesn't know much, where would you think the best place for them to start their journey in this process? They don't know anything, they're green, they're frustrated, having all these hot flashes and mood change, anxiety. What would be the best place for them to start?
So definitely exercise helps. One of the things that I have found though is when people are in the chronic inflammatory state, they don't want to exercise because it's painful. And so being able to get the high antioxidant nutrition like that are in these drops and other, any way that you can increase your antioxidants to reduce the inflammation, then we'll make it so that exercise, walking, things will become more enjoyable. And so that's something that I like to promote, because a lot of times people think that pain has to be part of the deal in getting well, and I don't think it has to be that way. So that's one of the things, being able to increase the antioxidants is going to actually help the overall system. And so that's going to be really helpful. And then being able to do the different Marma pressure points in the book in the booklet can actually help with the self-regulation and being able to feel overall better about life. If you have, I know that some people kind of have the menopausal brain where they're not being able to think and remember stuff as well. And And there are different pressure points for being able to increase your focus and your mental clarity. So it's, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do to be able to balance out. I also had read something that it occurred to me that sometimes the hot flashes could actually be a post-traumatic response. And I was thinking about how much women have spent their whole lives a lot of times doing things for other people, and they have taken a back burner when it comes to what they actually want. So taking time to really do things for ourselves, I think, is an important aspect that can help to mediate some of the symptoms as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, appreciate it. That's just one of the questions I wanted to ask. I'll let you go on and with your next I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to add on in terms of
No, you can go ahead, Maria.
in terms of our in terms of stress. All right. Stress to me, I am being talking as a registered nurse, a midwife, a sexual health nurse. Stress to me is one of the biggest problems women have. Just as you said before, we are the ones who carry the home. We carry a lot of the burdens. A lot of people depend on us. And many times we keep a lot of things inside. And that stress does a lot of damage more than we think. And, you know, we hold a lot of things inside and, you know, and we are not able to release. And here comes menopause now. You're going through the menopause, you have this stress you're holding on to. And a lot of this stress too may come as trauma even from childhood, right? And you're holding on to all of this all your adult life. How could you break that cycle? How could you start to break that cycle? To start to get that freeness, to get yourself together as a woman.
I really like to recommend that everybody learns how to do some kind of emotional clearing technique without having to go to a practitioner. I mean, it can be helpful, especially if you have some really traumatic stuff, to work with a practitioner. But I'd like to teach people how to do EFT tapping or emotion code so that they can be proactive in helping to clear out those things. And for myself, I know that I like to, anytime I get triggered, if I have the time, I go ahead and release the emotions that are related to that trigger, because it's an ideal time. You know, I've noticed there might be somebody says one little thing and my response is like this. I'm like, okay, what was that? You know, and that's a really good opportunity to then clear those things out. And I have noticed, like, every time I have major clearing stuff, people notice that I get younger looking. And it's, you know, I get less wrinkles on my brow. And so it really is possible to retire those things. You don't have to forget entirely, but you can lose the charge on those emotional things and start to take care of what you want in a very different way.
So you also emphasized sustainable living in your approach to health. How do our daily choices like food, environment, mindset, even the people we deal with on a regular basis impact not just our well-being, but also our future generation?
That's a really good question, Maria. So one of my favorite things to do is to promote regenerative and sustainable agriculture practices. And when we're doing that, the food is actually more nutritious. So you're going to actually have more you're improving your diet at the same time as helping to restore the water cycle in the, in the earth healing aspect. You can do so much to reduce the desertification if you have good agricultural practices. It also draws down the carbon to be able to help reduce the global warming and or climate change. So there's really a lot that we can do to be able to be sustainably minded and, give hope to all of our generations when we do that.
So then I would like to know, well then, what's a personal health habit or ritual of yours that has made the biggest impact on your own vitality and longevity?
Well, there's a couple of things. One of my favorite things, because I spent most of my life not waking up rested, no matter how much sleep I got. And so one of my favorite things to do is before I ever get out of bed in the morning, I give myself 10 or 15 minutes to do a practice that I envision filling my body with vital energy, and I have the energy come in through the top of my head. It's and just fill my whole body, and then I radiate out and say healed and perfect. And when I started to do that, the very first time I thought to do it, it made a difference. I could get out of bed feeling rested. And I did it 3 days in a row, and it worked every time. And I decided, okay, now I know what to do. So even, when I can't sleep, then I'll do this process, and it's completely changed my sleeping habits. So I don't have to worry whether or not I'm going to get enough sleep. I would say that is one of my favorite things. Doesn't cost any money, and it has had a really profound impact.
Because I myself am going through menopause, and a lot of the ladies here, and I right now my main problem is the lack of sleep. Or when I sleep, I'm not sleeping for very long, probably an hour or two, and I'm up for the rest of the night, and by the morning I'm tired when I have to go to work. So right now that is my challenge.
So that would be interesting to have you try this process and see how you like it. So even like I used to, if I couldn't sleep, I would lie there like, oh, I'm going to be, horribly tired in the morning. And now if I can't sleep, or if I've stayed up really late, then I just go ahead and do this process until I fall asleep. But then it is so rejuvenating for me that I really have, it doesn't matter to me now how much sleep I get or I don't get. So it'd be interesting if you want to try it. I would love to hear your feedback.
But I would like to hear you repeat it again so that the viewers, everybody listening would, hear a step, like step by step, what it is that you do.
Okay, so I'm
to help with sleep.
While I'm lying there in bed, then I imagine electric blue light filling my body, coming in the top of my head and filling my whole body. And as I do that, then I say I'm filled with vital energy. And then I radiate it out, kind of like envisioning that all the toxins are getting pushed out of my body, out of my cells. So I'm filled with vital energy, and then I radiate out healed and perfect. And I do that for, about 10 or 15 minutes. But like I said, if I'm either getting to bed really late or if I can't sleep, then I go ahead and do that. And it calms my mind. I feel like I'm being very proactive in making sure that I'm rested. And it has worked for me every time. I've been doing now for probably at least 25 years.
Okay, quite interesting. I've never heard that concept before. Never heard that one, but it's quite interesting. Um, Something I should think about, you know. But what I find one of the things that works for me, I at least not in the part of sleeping, but in terms of my general well-being mentally, I have learned to have positive people around me,
Mm-hmm.
right? How that positivity to me is empowering, and it makes me very careful to know that it's important to have the right type of individuals around me, particularly in my space, right, on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis. So I have learned to, yes, I know I have to mix, my job is to mix with a lot of patients and, mix with people and all of that. But what happens a lot in my job, because of the type of job I do, a lot of negativity comes into me through the experiences that patients verbalize to me, things that happened in their childhood, and you feel like, you are taking on some of that, so many times I am I am also sometimes stuck with how to deal, and a lot of other women, and according to the type of jobs they do, the negativity that sometimes people put their, sometimes there's a term, people put their problems on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And somehow you don't know how to get it out. Sometimes you're feeling the pain, you're empathizing, you're sympathizing, and somehow it becomes part of you. What is a good way to distress your body from things like that as well?
Very good question. So, so a couple of things, that forgive and let go, Marma,
Mm-hmm.
the Ayurvedic doctors in the clinic that, where the training that I got, they do that every morning for sure. And a lot of them do it in between clients. And so that is one way to help let things go. One of my favorite things to do energetically is to be able to, like, kind of brush off the energy and shake it out. And so
Okay.
that might be something that can be really helpful too. Um, and then being able to specifically also give yourself love. One of the marma for self-love is on the right earlobe, and pressing that 6 times can help to kind of revitalize you. There's also a one that kind of can look like castanets if you want to play with it. Pressing the thumb and index fingers together 6 times, and you can do them 6 sets of 6. So I have a friend who does it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's playing them like castanets, and and then being able to do, whether it's EFT or emotion code, some things to be able to make sure you're clearing on a regular basis. I also have developed a method for empathic energy clearing, and I think that sounds like, because you can tell that you're picking stuff up, being able to do a conscious empathic clearing once in a while might be really helpful for you.
Okay. Okay.
I
So,
also thought of
mhm,
another sleep thing before I forget.
mhm,
The
yeah.
one of the Ayurvedic remedies is to be able to put some ghee on your temples, and you right before you go to bed, and then you rub it kind of in a circular motion 6 times, and then press in, and then you can put ghee on the top of your head and in your belly button. And that has helped a lot of people be able to sleep better.
Okay. Massage. It's like a massaging, stimulating process to help the mind to settle down.
Yes.
Because many times I have a headache and I press by my temples. It's something that I do naturally. I press by the
Mm.
temples,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually helps decrease the headache.
Right.
So it's similar, something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So, Robin, where can our listeners find you? And do you have any exciting projects, resources, or final words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
So naturallivingsolutions.com is my website. I also am starting a once a month call that I'm talking about Ayurveda and other ways of healing. So that is going to be either on the second Monday of the month or the third Monday of the month at 11 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. And I'll wind up posting that also on my Natural Living Solutions website when I get that organized. And that's also, I've got links to the DNA drops there also that people can find them.
All right, so you would leave that link for us so that I'm quite interested in that one, to help, that would help in a lot of the inflammation and the inflammation and the inflammatory process that is going on in a lot of our bodies at this age group, right?
Yeah.
Because I now realize that I am starting to have arthritis, symptoms of early arthritis. So I need, with everything that I'm doing, I need some extra help now with this aspect. So those drops are helpful with conditions like that, as you said earlier on.
Yes, and there are also some home remedies for things like arthritis. One of the best home remedies to help with the Vata conditions is to have a teaspoon of castor oil at night before bed with 2 pinches of ginger. And you'd want to make sure that it's food grade castor oil. Most castor oil you can't consume, but there is food grade castor oil that if you can get that, having castor oil with 2 pinches of ginger before bed is a great home remedy. And I can provide some other ones regarding the helping to reduce pain and nourish the joints.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. I want to open the floor to any of the ladies who would like to ask you any question, anything that anyone is interested to know from Robin through her experience. You can fire away now and ask her. Don't be shy, ladies. Anybody? Okay.
We have a quiet group tonight.
Very quiet. Okay. So, Dr. Khan, you would like to interject anything here before we
Yeah. Well, thank you, Robin, for being on with us.
Thank
you did say you had a gift to share with us earlier. You kept alluding to it earlier throughout the this wonderful interview. So could you share some more about that gift? And I post the links in the chat. They're also on the YouTube channel, The Healthy Reset, right? As you can see behind my head here. So you can go get those links if you miss it here from The Healthy Reset. Subscribe, like the channel, don't like it, give a review. Just help us to grow by being on the channel and coming and seeing our stuff. Robin, we're going to close off with you sharing your wonderful gift, and we're going to say good night to everyone. Maria, your questions were absolutely insightful as usual. And then we'll close off for the night and wish everybody a pleasant evening.
All right. So what I have for you is this. It's in a zine format, so you can print it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then there's directions that you'll get on how to cut and fold it. And it's full of these Marma pressure points that you can do for greater health and wellness. There's one for what do you want, and it helps to, it's actually connects at the subconscious level. So you're starting to align what you want consciously with your subconscious mind to be able to create what you want, whether it's with your health or, you know, you want a new job or anything you want in life. And so it's got different points for being able to reduce anxiety, increase your focus and your overall well-being. And it's something that you can print one off for every member of your family if you want, or you can definitely do it with your kids. It helps to calm down the hyperactive child if you or maybe you have grandchildren that are in that age range. And so that's something I love to empower people with their health, and this little tool helps people do that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. As I said, links are in the chat and they're on the YouTube channel. You can find Robin's links on the YouTube channel also of her social media pages. You can reach out to her there. With that, we'd like to thank you so nicely for coming on with us tonight, Robin. We will be in touch with a little follow-up. And good night, ladies, and good night, everyone who's here. It's been a pleasure. Next week, we have another live episode of the Healthy Reset. And we will post if we're having a guest speaker, if Maria is going to come on with one of her excellent topics on how to navigate menopause. Maria, if you want to
before we go,
yes.
yes, I just want to say a very, very special thank you to Robin for coming on. I think we need to have a part 2, because I think there's so much more to learn from you. So I hope when we come calling again.
All right. Well, I have enjoyed it, and we can definitely set up another time.
Yes.
And I'd love to empower people and women specifically. There's so much that we can enjoy when in life when we do.
Thank you very much for coming on. We very much appreciate you and what you're doing.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, ladies.
Robin, and have a pleasant evening.